Transport is vital to the UK economy, underpinning economic growth, productivity and employment. The transport sector contributes approximately £90 billion annually to the UK's GDP and employs around 1.6 million people, representing about 5% of the total workforce. One cannot speak on sustainability without mentioning the transition to net zero. Net zero is single-handedly the biggest factor in making the transport sector green.
One of our key values is sustainable development, and we strive to balance economic growth with environmental protection and social responsibility. And as an important example, the fishing sector has one of the lowest carbon footprints of any form of high-protein food production. The North Sea and North Atlantic have some of the richest and most sustainable fishing grounds in the world.
Peterhead Port is at the heart of the transition to net zero as a delivery partner in the Acorn Project. This is at the pre-development stage at nearby St Fergus.
The Acorn Project is a really important project for Scotland. It's aimed at decarbonising industrial and power emitters right across Scotland, taking that CO2 and safely storing it under the ground. In doing so, we help to reach the decarbonisation targets, not only for Scotland but also for the UK. Acorn has a huge number of advantages. The stores that we're planning to use are extremely well understood, and as we mentioned, can store a large amount of CO2 safely underground for a long period of time. We're planning to reuse a lot of existing infrastructure, which helps us manage our costs and also means that we can develop the infrastructure as needed to meet the requirements of the different emitter projects who'll be supplying CO2 from us. The reach of the project is very significant, which means that we can gather CO2 from across all of Scotland, as well as the local emitters here around the Peterhead area, so we have a very large reach. We can make a very significant contribution to delivering decarbonisation for the UK. I think the Climate Change Committee identified that CCUS was a critical technology to allow us to meet our decarbonisation goals, and Acorn can play a huge part in delivering those targets. I think aiming at 20 to 30 million tonnes a year stored for the UK by 2030.
In terms of sustainability, it is important that our company looks heavily at this. We have done our little bit over the years to have solar panels on roofs of buildings. We recycle oils that are used out of engines and various other components that can be reused elsewhere. We are very conscious about maintaining high standards in terms of how we look at keeping things clean and environmentally friendly. We are looking at the future where we feel that we may need to invest in the certain training and skills that are required to go down the lines of engineering of electric vehicles and hydrogen. So these are key areas where we see the company having to invest a lot of money and time into our staff, and probably bringing in new staff, probably investing in new areas where we work, certainly within our workshops, to deliver the carbon footprint that we need. I think it's important, we see it on the news every day, the world is in a dilemma with carbon emissions predominantly produced from other parts of the world, but we have to do our bit and see that we have been doing it as a leader going forwards. I believe that we are doing our bit as a company in a small way at the moment, but we hope over the next 2 to 3 years to be upscaling significantly and joining other companies that are really pioneering the way forwards for the improved technology that we all need.